Viewer discretion is strongly advised. This story dives into some seriously heavy territory, all for education and entertainment. What if everything you thought you knew about Sean Diddy Combs was just the tip of the iceberg? On May 16, 2025, in a packed Manhattan courtroom, Cassie Ventura, his ex-girlfriend, and a key witness unleashed testimony that didn't just shock the world. It tore apart the glittering facade of Diddy's empire. Were there secret tunnels beneath his Los Angeles mansion? A hidden world of control and fear? Cassie's words painted a chilling picture, one that's got everyone from ex-users to news anchors buzzing. This isn't just a trial, it's a saga of power, secrets, and a fight for truth. Let's break it down, step by step, and uncover what she revealed. The federal courtroom was a pressure cooker on day 5 of Diddy's trial. Reporters spilled over the benches, their laptops flickering like fireflies, scribbling every word. The public gallery was a wall of faces, curious fans, skeptical onlookers, and industry insiders, all craning for a glimpse of Cassie Ventura. Jurors sat rigid, their notepads untouched, eyes locked on the witness stand. Diddy, flanked by his legal team, stared straight ahead, his face unreadable. The air was thick, almost suffocating, as if everyone knew something massive was coming. Cassie walked in, her steps measured, her eyes tired but resolute. She'd spent 4 days recounting a decade of pain, but today felt different. When the defense attorney asked, "Miss Ventura, have you ever been beneath the property inside the tunnel?" The room went dead silent. A juror gasped, a reporter's pen froze mid-sentence, and the judge's gavel hovered. What Cassie said next wasn't just testimony, it was a bombshell that could rewrite Diddy's legacy. But to understand it, we need to go back to the start. Cassie was barely 19 when she met Diddy in 2006, a starry-eyed R&B singer signing with his Bad Boy Records. He was the king of hip-hop, a mogul who promised to make her dreams come true. He was charming, larger than life, she told the court, her voice soft but steady. He said he'd guide me, make me a star. At first it was professional studio sessions, late-night creative talks, and Diddy's infectious energy. But by 2007, things shifted. Their relationship turned romantic, and the charm faded into control. Cassie described a world where Diddy called the shots. What she wore, who she saw, even how she spoke. He picked my outfits, my hairstyles, even my nail polish, she said. If I went out without his permission, my phone would light up 50 calls, texts demanding to know where I was. One night, she missed a call while at a friend's house, and Diddy showed up banging on the door, accusing her of disloyalty. It was like I didn't exist outside of him, she said. This wasn't love, it was a cage, gilded with fame, but locked tight. And it was about to get darker. But the real twist came when Cassie pulled back the curtain on what she called freak-offs. These weren't your typical celebrity parties, they were orchestrated, drug-fueled nights that Diddy allegedly planned like a director on a movie set. They happened twice a month, sometimes more, she testified. He'd hand me pills, MDMA, benzos, opiates, weed, and say they'd help me relax. The jury saw texts that chilled the room. One from Diddy read, "Game starts at 10 p.m., no breaking character till 8 a.m. Another said, "Wear the wig, bring candles, follow the script." Cassie described luxury hotels, private homes, even yachts transformed into stages for these events. There were roles, instructions, sometimes strangers, she said. I'd wake up foggy, cameras still rolling, not knowing what I'd done. She admitted she sometimes went along, but only because drugs dulled her will. Agreeing when you're high isn't consent, she told the court, her voice cutting through the silence. The prosecution showed photos of a hotel room littered with baby oil, pill bottles, and latex outfits seized by the FBI. One juror covered her face, another shook his head. These weren't parties, they were a system, Cassie claimed, designed to strip away her control. And there was more to come. Now let's dive into the most explosive part, the tunnels. For years, whispers about secret rooms beneath Diddy's Los Angeles mansion have haunted the internet, from Reddit threads to X posts by users like at B. Gates Audice Pisco. Let's be clear, these are unverified rumors, not proven facts. and nothing in major news reports confirms them. But in court, Cassie gave these stories a pulse, and her words were haunting. She described Diddy, high and muttering, leading her to a hidden hatch near the mansion's pool, buried under foliage like a secret trapdoor. It wasn't a basement, it was cold, concrete, like a bunker, she said, her voice eerily calm. Down a fluorescent-lit corridor, she saw rooms that made her skin crawl. One had red lights, leather furniture, and cameras in every corner, like a stage for something sinister. Another had chains on the walls, a single bench, and a smell of bleach and sweat. A third was just a chair, a box of wires, and a digital panel she couldn't decipher. It felt like a prison, not a house, she said. Cassie claimed she saw 2 women in masks, silent, sitting like statues. He called them performers, she said. I wasn't introduced. She heard muffled voices behind a door, like distorted music, and Diddy whispered, "This is where I bring the ones I own." The prosecution objected, calling it speculative, but the judge let her continue. Cassie said she fled, shaking, locking herself in a bedroom upstairs. Online, fans speculate about elite gatherings, hidden tapes, even trafficking, but none of it's confirmed. Was this a real network of secret rooms? Or a vivid scar from her trauma? The jury will decide, but the story left the courtroom frozen. And it didn't stop there. Cassie's testimony about physical abuse was a gut punch. She described Diddy's violence as a constant shadow, grabbing her wrists, shoving her during arguments, promising it wouldn't happen again, only to break that promise. In 2016, hotel cameras caught him dragging and beating her in a Los Angeles hallway, footage the jury watched in stunned silence. I hid the bruises under sunglasses at my movie premiere the next day, she said, her voice cracking. She recounted a gash above her eyebrow from a night he accused her of cheating. I was asleep on the couch, exhausted, she said. He thought I was with someone else. I wasn't. Another time, he kicked her in the back after reading a text from Kid Cudi, her brief ex during a break from Diddy. He couldn't let it go, she said. He used it to justify everything. Most chilling was her story of being thrown off a boat in the Caribbean. He called me dead weight, she said. I swam to shore, shaking, and still went back to him. A juror wiped away a tear, another stared at the floor, and the judge called a recess. The violence wasn't just physical, it was a cycle that broke her spirit, leaving scars no one saw. But Cassie wasn't alone in this nightmare. Dawn Richard, a former Danity Kane singer, testified she saw Diddy attack Cassie in 2009, slamming her to the ground and hitting her with a skillet. I froze, Richard said. I was too scared to act. Cassie mentioned other women at these freak-offs, some escorts, some strangers, some in tears. They'd arrive by car service, sometimes masked, sometimes crying, she said. I didn't ask questions, I was too afraid. She named Tiffany Red, a friend who saw unsettling moments at Cassie's 29th birthday and later wrote about Diddy's behavior in Rolling Stone. Tiffany told me it wasn't okay, Cassie said. I didn't listen. Assistants, she claimed, were complicit, scheduling these nights, delivering drugs, cleaning up afterward. One walked in on us once and just said, "Sorry, boss," she recalled. They weren't blind. The defense argued this didn't prove a crime, but Cassie's words hit hard. It wasn't about sex. It was about submission. He needed to feel untouchable. When asked why so many stayed silent, she didn't flinch. Because he's Diddy, she said. Who'd believe us over a mogul? But now the silence was shattering. Cassie's fight to break free was a long, painful road. She started therapy, piecing together memories she'd buried, nights lost to drugs, rooms she couldn't unsee. I'd wake up screaming, remembering things I didn't want to, she said. She checked into a luxury rehab disguised as a spa, desperate to quit pills, but Diddy allegedly showed up, calling her dramatic. He told him I was fine, and I checked out the next day, she said. I felt like he owned me, even when I tried to leave. In 2023, she filed a $20 million civil lawsuit, settled in days, but she told the court it wasn't about money. I needed the world to know I wasn't crazy, she said. It happened. Her lawsuit opened the floodgates. Over 70 others came forward with similar stories of abuse, coercion, even trafficking. FBI raids hit Diddy's properties, searching for evidence. While findings are sealed, X posts whisper of hidden rooms, recording devices, even lists of names. Cassie refused interviews, saying, "I didn't want to be a symbol. I just wanted to be free." But in court, her voice was a beacon, shining light on a world of shadows. The trial's impact is shaking the world. X is exploding with reactions. Some hail Cassie as a hero, others question her timing, while posts like at B Gates is a psycho's fuel talk of tunnels and elite cover-ups. Outlets like CNN, NBC, and the Washington Post focus on the abuse allegations, but the tunnel rumors remain unconfirmed, a mix of courtroom drama and online myth. The FBI's raids, Dawn Richards' testimony, and items like baby oil and pills found in Diddy's hotel room keep the story alive. Social media is a wildfire. Hashtags like #Diddy trial trend daily, with fans dissecting every detail. "This is bigger than Diddy," one X user wrote. "It's about who else was in those rooms." The media frenzy grows, with reporters camping outside the courthouse, chasing any hint of what's next. As more witnesses prepare to testify, the world holds its breath, wondering what else will surface. And that brings us to the unanswered questions. What did the FBI find in those raids? Were there really tunnels, or are they a symbol of something deeper, a network of power and silence? Who else was involved? Cassie mentioned celebrities at these freak-offs, but names remain sealed. X posts speculate about A-listers, politicians, even hidden tapes, but nothing's proven. The sealed FBI findings fuel the fire. Rumors of recording devices, lists of guests, even connections to bigger scandals. If those tapes exist, they could bring down half of Hollywood, one X user claimed. Cassie's testimony hints at others still trapped, too scared to speak. "I wasn't the only one," she said. "Some never came back." What happened to them? The trial's not over, and these questions linger, keeping viewers glued to every update. So, where does this leave us? Cassie Ventura didn't just testify, she ripped open a hidden world of power, fear, and secrets. Whether the tunnels are real, or a haunting echo of her pain, her story paints a picture of control that's impossible to ignore. With more witnesses stepping forward and investigations deepening, one question burns brighter than ever. Will justice finally catch up to Diddy, or will his empire's shadow keep the truth buried? This saga is far from over, so hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay locked in for what's next, because the story of Diddy's downfall is just beginning.